Oh, I'm live. This thing says you're live after you're live. Anyway, how's it going, folks? How are we? Happy Easter holiday. Beautiful weather too. So how are you all doing? So as we well know, a lot of changes going on, a lot of things coming up. A collective mirror has been put in front of everybody now. Can't run away anywhere, can't move anywhere. All those things that you don't like about yourself and all the things you do like about yourself, they're all in front of you. Now's the time for you to look into the mirror and to ask yourself these questions. Are you happy with where you're at in life? Are you doing what you wish to do? Is what you're doing in life meaningful to your soul and your purpose? Are your relationships working? People being so close together in confined spaces? Energy's going to bounce. Do you resonate with your partner? Is your relationship real? All these questions collectively, individually and collectively, are all being asked. We've asked these questions many a time throughout the years, throughout the eons. But humanity has a thing of running away from its responsibilities. And so this right now is the universe saying you are not to run away. If you want to heal and you want to move forward and you want to grow and ascend with Mother Earth, then you've got to do this. This is not you've got the choice, do you want to or don't you? We are all being faced now with that mirror. We're all being faced with that self-reflection, with the reflection of life and what's meaningful to each and every single one of us, right? Because the shops are not open, you can't really buy much. So materialism, money, work, employment, all those things which we labelled ourselves and we class our identity on are all gone. So it leaves a question: who are you? What you're here to do? You are not your job. You are not your social status. So when you remove all that away, who are you? And this is what this is all about right now. This whole collective creation going on. It's about asking each and every single one of us, who are you in relation to your soul, in relation to the collective, in relation to your journey? You know, are you your clothes, your Nike Air Maxes, your Louis Vuittons? You know, strip all that away. Who are you? Are you influential? Are you influential from the soul, or is it material influential? Ask these questions, because these is what we've been asked to ask ourselves right now. It's about higher learning. It's about understanding that we want to move forward. Well, then we've got to take the action. There's no more running away and no more kind of like, she did this and he did that. So a few things just to ask yourself. I mean, to all the light workers out there, I don't like to label anything, but we know all about this. This is what you've been preparing for. This is why or this is the time now, that you should be standing in your power and showing to the people around you just exactly what doing the inner work does in your self-empowerment, because this is where you become the inspiration. In this time now, people will look to you as being the light worker and seeing how you're coping with it, and to see if how you're coping with it is any different from how they're coping with it, because from that reflection they will then start to maybe ask themselves, how are they dealing with it so easily? How are they able to balance everything out in a time where everything's so upheaved and there's so much undecisiveness and so much mystery? How do you keep balanced? Well, when you do your inner work, this is what the inner work's about, the soul work. It's about enjoying the mystery, enjoying the upheaval, because when there's upheaval, it means there's the collective program is coming to the surface. The lava of a volcano boils under the earth, and when it gets to the point of too much pressure, it rises up. Well, this is where we're at now, collectively, individually, our consciousness has been so low in fear, it's been boiling to the point, and now the universe is like, right, let's just give it to them, and we've upped it up. and everything's coming to surface: politics, education, materialism, sexuality, sensuality, which is where I'm actually moving to. So you can see, you know, where and why all these events are being created. Again, a lot of people message me, you know, ask me my opinion on it. With all that I perceive, I see it from a soul perspective. So I ask myself, what is this teaching us collectively? What is this physical experience energetically showing us? And this is how I often kind of move through my processes and gaining a better understanding. Right. But that's not the point of this call. The point of this video is simply for the brothers. Goddesses, you're awesome, you're great, but this video is specifically for the men. Brothers, I've been feeling, and I get a lot of messages from you and asking what's your purpose, what's your role. Divine Feminine so strong, so many women coming up into their power. Where do you fit in? What do you have to do? Why is things not working for you? You know, you've got your female friends, you know, they're all doing yoga, the women are bounding together. But whilst we're seeing all these women bounding together and come together in strength, which is an absolutely beautiful thing, we don't see any men in that. And in actual fact, I perceive quite a lot of spiritual gurus and coaches actually forming separation between men and women by saying, oh, we're going to hold a circle of trust and a circle of vulnerability for all you women. But where does the men fit in? You know, we've got to remember here, guys, that the system has created separation for different means, from clothes to energies to taste in music to roles to gender roles, you know. So you've got to remember that even in this time, even in these amazing times with so much change and so much positivity, anything they can use to separate us, they will. And we just got to make sure that we're aware and clued up enough to understand that it's just an attempt to separate. So whilst it's absolutely amazing and beautiful, and everybody knows I love goddesses, it's no secret, you're amazing, you're beautiful, but we must come together with men. Goddesses, you got to show to men and reflect to them how they can step into their expression, how they can be vulnerable, how they can openly express their sexuality without feeling they're either going to be judged. Because I often perceive that because of this female energy, the oomph of it, that a lot of women are feeling that, but at the same time of feeling it, a lot of pre-programmed traumas coming up within the divine masculine principles and understanding of the divine masculine. And a lot of women are coming from a trauma energy within the divine masculine, so not really understanding it, but more coming from the energy of abuse, of you know, of control, manipulation, domination. And these are just minimal aspects of the divine masculine. This is not the divine masculine in its whole embodiment. And it's because of this minimal understanding of the divine masculine, which is why there's so much resentment from women towards men, towards the masculinity. A lot of women are unaware it's not men. You see all the time, I've had enough of men. It's not men, it's masculinity. And it's because it's an overexpressed masculinity and not a balanced. And so what's happening is, all this is coming to the surface, right? Which is beautiful, beautiful. Men have got healing to do, and so have women. We are not any better than one another. We have male, and we have female, and we have the center. This is where we're all getting to. We're all connecting and aligning. So what we've got to do is allow each other to step into our power through realization and understanding of the energies. Now, I am going to be bringing out a book, and I seem to be kind of like pumped and promoted to, or motivated to be kind of like writing about this particular thing, because I just see so much male and female battles going on, and it's like, ladies, stop, rubbing out the men in your holy sacred circles. Invite men into that. A lot of women are saying, I want my man to feel, I want him to express how he is, I want men to align with who they are. Well, then invite them into that space, show them it's okay, rather than judging and just singling out your goddesses, which is great, and the divine feminine, which is great, because we've all got it. Show to the males and to the divine masculine what it's like to align, what the expression of the divine feminine is, because all we're doing is simply, whilst we're healing the divine feminine, we're not healing the masculine. And if you don't heal the masculine, you won't get to the feminine, you won't fully heal it, because you've got to rise up and come down. We're all going to heal, and to get there you've got to heal one or the other, right? So we really need to come together, stop kind of like just saying it's for men and just saying for women. I can't deal with any more spiritual coaches and teachers and leaders and this, that and the other forming and creating separation, saying, let's bring all the women together and the divine feminine and let's heal this, was absolutely obliterated and forget about men. Now, this is not to do with feeling left out. It's simply understanding that right now women are empowered, the divine feminine is strong, but whilst this is happening, men are getting more and more lost. I read a thing yesterday, just the other day, 75% of all suicides are male. Just take that in. 75% of all suicides are male. Why do you think that is? Ask yourself that question, and then I'll tell you. So I'll give you just a minute or so whilst I drink my peace water. 75% of suicides are male. You figured it out. It's quite simple. Whilst there's been a lot of repression, masculinity, femininity, individually, collectively, it's been missed that men have been distorted and been told distorted views upon the divine masculine, in which they've been acting off, and which has created so much trauma and so many experiences of abuse, of control and manipulation. But let's reel it back. So where does that come from? Misunderstanding of the divine masculine and lack of understanding of the divine feminine. Now, whilst in this day and age, it's great to see so many women come in together and doing all your rituals, your yoga, your dancing, and whatever it is you do, to bring each other. I never see anybody bringing men into the equation. In actual fact, I never see hardly any men post anything to do with what's going on with them. I never see men posting dancing videos. I never see men posting yoga videos. It's almost like at this very moment in time, men are just kind of like falling back and just saying, okay, we've repressed women, we've done this, that and the other, and they're taking all the blame and responsibility for the collective creation upon each and every one of us ourselves. Now this is where we just need to cut it dead. There's no excuse for men or women. We simply just need to cut it dead. So we need to invite male and female into our practices. I saw the other day, and it was beautiful. It really was beautiful. I mean, I said to my guys, I said, like, it's such a beautiful thing, but why is it they're not? Why is it people are posting out all about unity and spirituality and alignment, but nobody's understanding or bringing in men into this equation, the divine masculine? If you think that you're going to be balanced by just using the divine feminine, well, you'll surely find that that's not going to be the case, because you need to have alignment of the both. It's universal law, Without one, you're missing the other. 75% of all suicides are male. So, why would that be? It's quite simple. Men are still being repressed emotionally. We've still got the archaic daddy lessons. Who come from his daddy? Who come from his daddy? Who come from his daddy? And a lot of these lessons from daddy come from times of fear and survival. Wartime. A lot of people don't really know it. A lot of men right now, they actually have the energy of a soldier. If you've never thought of this, just sit back and ask yourself. Strength, for fighting in a war. Domination, for invasion, taking over. So you understand that a lot of these aspects of wartime, of just bringing in the negative aspects of the divine masculine, whilst completely, again, like they did with the divine feminine, repressed it and distorted it and turned it into something completely just flipped upside down, as the system tends to do with most things. So it's a powerful time. We all want change. Ladies, I hear you say a lot. You wish men understood you. You wish there was more men who were in touch with their feelings, in touch with themselves, who resonated and who understand you better. Well, now's your time. Like light workers, like the males like myself, who have been working on embodying that divine feminine and working on expression of emotion, something that, I struggled with, gents, seriously struggled with it. It's only over the last few years doing inner work I've actually learned to embody how I feel. Sexuality, one of those things I found was, it was always okay for women to express themselves sexually, but whenever a man was to do it, it was deemed pervy, creepy, etc. And so, after being a young male, as young males, we'll all resonate with this. You get told that so many times, you start to form kind of like a belief and an insecurity around sexuality and expression of it. You don't want to express and you don't want to say, you don't want to be you, because you got the fear of judgment, the fear of the persecution. And now the worst thing is, this is the worst thing, right? So even if the intention is simply just to say to a female, you're beautiful or something, men being men, the alpha male, or the fake alpha male I like to call it, often find that coming from the energy of protection, that men have been manipulated to believe that that's what they're for. A lot of men judge other men. So we've got this whole scenario of where men can't express who they are, be in the background of their mind, in the background of themselves. They're like, they want to say and want to be this certain thing, but they can't. And then when they do, you not only have the females that just do not allow and accept that expression, but you also have the males who jump in as a bit like like the knight in shining armor. They come rolling in and they'll probably jump on the back and judge people, and and this just goes to show exactly where we're at collectively with male and females. Men, support your brothers, women, support your males. They're your brothers. Brothers, support your sisters. This is what we're here for. Men here, show to the women that the divine masculine is not about domination, control, and manipulation. There's actually a lot more to it and a lot more beautiful aspects to it. Women, show to men that femininity is not about being, wearing pink and just being over emotional. It's about expressing our emotion, embodying that, and allowing to express that. Women, show to men it's okay for them to express themselves sexually. Did you know the number one thing in repression and for control and manipulation that is used is sexuality? Number one thing is sexuality. And what do we do to one another? We use that same thing against one another. it's the one taboo and the one kind of subject which when we kind of like judge one another really hits us hard, man. So we need to pull that back. You know, we need to pull it all back. We need to come back down. Feminine needs to come back down to level. Masculine needs to come up to level, and we need to meet the middle ground. It's not about the divine feminine. Like, a lot of people seem to think, and I see this all the time, and I saw it the other day. There was a post with a beautiful woman and she looked amazing. The aura and energy was great. And then you've got a male coming in there and he's like, oh, you're looking great. And somewhere along the line, I think some other dude come in there and said something, and this other bloke started attacking this other dude. And it's just like, look, like, get out of this whole war zone, conquering commando, alpha male mindset, because that is archaic and it's not going to work for you. Women don't want that. You know this. I mean, you can get as big as you want. I go to the gym. Everybody knows it. You can pump as much iron. You can get this foot wide. But if you do not have any form of understanding of the energies of masculine and femininity, you will always fail in understanding women. And you'll always fail in understanding yourself, because a part of you is feminine. And you've got to understand that. So I just really feel strongly that we need to band together. You know, let's not judge, let's not resent, let's not hold shame or guilt. These are all negative, low vibrational expressions which are not resonant to soul. This is not who I am, and it's not who you are, whether we're male or female. It doesn't matter. We all are entitled and have the divine will of creation. We all are entitled and have the divine will of expression, whether that be sensually, emotionally, or sexually. It doesn't matter. Neither men or women need to be jumping through hoops to express themselves. I mean, just the other week, I observe a lot of, I mean, I don't put a lot of my personal life on here because, quite frankly, it's nobody's business. But I observe a lot, and there's just so much right now, and I just want to bring this to your awareness, ladies. There's just so much trauma, collective trauma, coming up in regards to your divine masculine and understanding that. And from a divine masculine embodying my divine feminine, I'd like to say from my heart to yours that you haven't fully understood the aspects of the divine masculine, and where you're coming from is actually a either traumatized version of it or a minimal understanding of that energy. Whilst that's be the case for women understanding men, it's the same for men understanding women. But the thing is, men have got just a little bit more work to do, because they've not only got to understand and re-understand their own energy, the divine masculine, and what essentially that truly is and how that relates to your soul and your aura, but also understand how it's okay and perfectly safe and fine to bring in the divine feminine energies into your masculinity. And in actual fact, that is where you will get the true energy of power, the true energy of courage and strength, the true energy of expression. It's where you won't need to act like a alpha male when you're not. How many times do you do this? Men, I'm talking to you. How many times have you put an act on? I've done it back in a long time ago now, but I used to put an act on, try and play a part, try and be something I wasn't. Why? Because it's what women were attracted to. Why? Because women were told to go for the protector, the person who's big and the one who's going to keep you safe. And so all the sensitive guys and all the guys that were a bit more aligned with their divine feminine actually got rubbed out of the picture, and to a point where that picture then got distorted and all the guys got frustrated. And Amy, yoga is the answer. Well, it's funny because Yoga's the start of it. The question's too big for that just to be the answer. But yeah, so it's basically, we've got to re-understand energies and how they work. We've got to stop coming from this masculinity. It's the reason why we've misunderstood the masculinity is because it's always come and been created and programmed from war times and from times of survival. So whenever we think of male masculinity, whether it's us as men or females, they immediately think of like, you subconsciously go to a survival, fight or flight mode. You suddenly, when I was younger, you go to clubs and pubs, you see that people will fight you to get with a girl, and this is what it is. It's because men are so stuck with their understanding of the divine masculine being about wartime. But just going back, so I played the part, man. I played the part of being the alpha male bad boy and this, that and the other. And yes, it got me what I wanted at the time. But you get to a point where you feel you're not being true to yourself. And then the world around you starts to reflect that. The people you meet are kind of like, maybe you don't resonate with them, you don't feel like they understand you. And that's because when you play a part for so long, that's not you. Your energy will reflect that out. And especially women will know this, man. Ladies, you're probably sat there thinking to yourself, I know this shit straight away, because you do. When you was in the club, right, and you had that creep, well, excuse my judgment, you had that fellow who was walking up to you, didn't say anything, not a word, but then all of a sudden you turn to your girlfriend and you go, that dude's a creep, man, don't like him. And the thing is, what's happening there is you're simply coming from your energy, even yourself at that point of being repressed in understanding where that's coming from. But you are intuitive, you are divine feminine. The divine feminine is connectiveness, is intuition, holistic meditation, centralness, balance. That's what the femininity is, intuition, energy. And that's why, you may be unaware of it, but in the clubs why you was like, I'm not resonating with this dude right here, and he hadn't even say anything, is simply because his energy come in, and often a lot of men are not what they perceive to be. They put on an act, and your energy and your intuition just picks that up straight away, and you're like, do you know what, this dude, man, something's not right about him. Or maybe you've had that yourself. You've met somebody and you're like, something's just not right. What's not right? And I'll tell you, from a male, from a divine masculine / feminine, where that's coming from. And simply, he's not being true. He's being something he's not. More than likely an alpha male, because as we all know, the world around us says it's cool to be an alpha male, right? It's how you're going to get the woman of your dreams, and it's what it means to be successful, and it's all bollocks, quite frankly. Because you're only beginning half of the full package. And now it's time for you, me and everybody to come to this understanding and to say, no, enough is enough. Yes, women have been repressed by men. Men have been repressed by women. Women have repressed men sexually, expressionally, and have put judgments and expectations, and so have men. None has done anything worse or better than another. When we come to this understanding, then we can finally, with unity and understanding, bring each other together. But if we're going to keep going around and saying, come on ladies, let's come together, or you divine goddesses, and just absolutely forgetting the men, or not even showing men who they truly are by expressing who you truly are. And when a male expresses himself, why don't you, in a playful manner, if it's sexual, why don't you just say, accept the compliment, understand that you're coming from a traumatized understanding of the divine masculine. And you will find, ladies, this is more at you, the more you do this towards men, and the more you send out this divine feminine energy from yourself to men, collectively, men will raise themselves. It's up to the divine feminine. This is why I said light warriors, but it's really up to the light warriors and divine feminines to really, you know, be the leaders now, to make everybody else a leader, because you're embodying that divine feminine. You're feeling that and you're expressing that. And that divine feminine, even to other females as well, because a lot of females are not comfortable expressing that. A lot of females are more comfortable in expressing the divine masculine, alpha masculine, because you haven't really been given the full understanding of that. So it's more about, it's not a competition. It's not about, you know, physical looks. It's about collaboration, unity, not just coming together for support and help, but unity in coming together for one another. Allowing each other to just be. Why do we have to jump through hoops to express who we are? Why is there so much judgment on everything? We all enjoy what we enjoy. Whilst it is true that due to repression of sexuality, a lot of it's been exacerbated. And in this exacerbation has been a lot of distortion and misunderstanding around sexuality. This misunderstanding of the divine masculine, the misunderstanding of the expression, and the distortion of sexuality combined has just created this over-dominant masculine energy of kind of like thinking that, okay, I'm an alpha male, so I need to be the leader. I need to be the one to make all the choices. I need to be the one to take the person's hand and to guide them. I need to be the one to suppress my emotion and to be a rock in those times of when somebody's feeling vulnerable. I need to be this, and I'm here to say to you, you do not need to be any of that. You need to be you, and you are the alignment of the divine feminine and masculine. So whilst it's a beautiful thing being male here right now, it's about bringing in those masculine tendencies and strengths, but also aligning your feminine, because by aligning that, you bring into more understanding and clarity your divine masculine. And I think a lot of it really is to do with the fact that we believe it's a male god. I'm not going to go into this too much because I write about it in my book, so it gives you something a bit more exciting. Not exciting, but a mystery to kind of uncover. Or images of strength, divinity, power has always been a man. We believe that God is a male. What if God wasn't? Is not the pure tendencies of soul the pure expression of the divine feminine? Is it not? So, if God was, in actual fact, a person, would it not be a female? Now, I'll just leave that with you. I'm going to write about it. I've had a word with my angels, and I'm currently working in the universal libraries and the universe schools to kind of uncover a bit more about this. But basically, this idea of the masculine has come from and have been created by religion and the system. Quite simply, where in religion is there a strong woman? Mary Magdalene's a prostitute, but was she? Or was she actually the reflection of Master Jesus? Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, known as Jesus' mother, but she was actually more. She was mother of the earth, mother of the people, mother of the angels. So she was a lot more. So not only have we been misunderstood within the divine masculine through pre-programming, through exponential experiences of wartime, But we've also been given this idea that a true God is to look like the images we see. Strong, muscular. Look at all the depictions of the Roman gods. What do they look like? All the models in the magazines. Everybody is coming from a collective programming from a long time ago. And what's happening now is, and a lot of men are noticing this, because when I go to the gym and I get in the jacuzzi of wisdom, I call it the jacuzzi. Well, actually, a friend of mine labelled it that. Basically, when I go to the gym, I get in the jacuzzi and I always end up having like a bit of, not intentionally, I got bloody nuts stuck in my teeth, but having a audience. And a lot of the questions, and I mean, don't get me wrong, some of these men, they're handsome men, and they're sat there and they're asking me why they can't get in a relationship. Why is it not working? You know, they look at themselves, they think, well, I am this idea, I am this image of strength, I am this image of a God, but why am I not able to, why am I not attracting anybody, or why is it, you know? And I just turn around and say, well, brother, quite simply, because you're not being true to you. You're being everything else you've been told to be, whilst forgetting who you are. And now when you're expressing yourselves to the divine feminine, they can read you like a book. If you're being true to you, they will feel it as authentic. If you're not being true to you, they will feel as if something's not quite right, as we spoke about earlier. So whilst you can lift all your weights and you can go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week and you can have a deep voice and you can drink beer and stuff, you know, those images of what is divine masculine, it's not there anymore. We're in a new world. So gents, we got to change shit. It's not going to work. We're not at the war times anymore with the wife at home looking after the kids and cleaning the house whilst we go down and be all manly at the pub and drink and smoke and then go home and then probably abuse our partners because we don't know what expression of love is. We don't understand it because it's been repressed due to the fact that we're coming from a programmed understanding from war times where there's no time for emotion, there's no time for sensitiveness, because in those times you wouldn't be strong. They wouldn't put you on the front line, right? Or in those times the soldiers would beat you up. So we've got to remember that those times have been and gone. We want something new. You want a new love. Women often say, I want a partner who understands me. Men often say, you know, I want to attract somebody. How can I do it? Well, how can you do it? It's to start with you. Men, you've got a real uphill challenge, but from challenges comes growth. You've got to just ask yourself, are you being true to you? Or are you just pretending to be a divine? Are you pretending to be an alpha male? An egoism alpha male? Because a true alpha male is somebody who sits up and says, this is me. I love angels. I love candles. I love yoga. I love the divine feminine. I love the expression. I love strength. I like to get a little bit of logic in there with my intuition. This is an aligning. This is true alpha soulness. This is because you're aligning not just your male and your female, but the whole. And when you do that, you'll understand where women are coming from, because women are coming from the divine feminine. If you're coming from the divine feminine, you'll be able to understand it and relate. So whilst it's great to keep yourself in check and keep your fitness and to keep your muscular appearance, I love my body. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It's a reflection of the love and the image I hold within my mind of myself and my soul. It is not the be all and end all. And the size of your muscles are not going to pull that girl or that woman who really resonates with you. You'll attract a certain type, but those types, the energies are not really of commitment, and it's normally attracting other people with lack of self-love and looking for self-gratification through physical appearance. But if you want something real, you've got to be real. Ask yourself, are you real? You know, we all have friends, have family. The amount of times that my friends, I've seen it. I've actually witnessed one of my friends say to his girlfriend, when my friends are around, do not belittle me and do not do this and do not do that. This just goes to show the amount of insecurity and the amount of lack of love men hold in themselves. Are you being true? Are you being who you want to be, or are you just being something that your friends are so you fit in? I'm asking these questions because simply this is what you can ask yourself to move forward in creating, you know, a new understanding of the divine masculine and eventually embodying the divine feminine. So, now that you're not going to the pub, gents, and you're not able to go to the gym 4 times a week, and you're not going to work to provide, what's your role? Where do you fit? Divine feminine, creativity, meditation, creativity, intuition, imagination, expression, peace. Where do you fit in all this? And this is what you are to ask yourselves. This is what we are to ask each and every single one of us when you look in that mirror, is what is my purpose and who am I without the material world around me? Strip away your material world, which is what's happening to us all. Who are you without it? Who are you without that pint in your hand? Who are you without the leather jacket? Who are you without the gold chain? Who are you without the tattoos and the muscles? Do you see what I'm saying? And what this is all this is for is literally preparation for you to go through your healing, gents. It's time for you to align with your divinity like the goddesses. It's time for you to step into your power, into your divine masculine and alignment to divine feminine, and to show to all the other men and be a motivation and an inspiration to all those other males to say, it's okay. You are okay. You can cry, you can scream, you can love, you can wear whatever you want to wear, you can express whatever you want to express. There is no repression, because it's only through that awareness and that understanding which is where we are going to bring into alignment a collective healing. So now is the time. Now's the time, right? We're all got this current experience. So now is the day, and now is the time we turn to one another and we say, we forgive one another. We know that a lot of the programming, a lot of our core beliefs come from a time where there has been a lot of fear of death and survival and wartime. Bring in these understandings. Say to yourself, you are a divine being of infinite potential. You are divine masculine and you are divine feminine. You have all right to express yourself with integrity and heart. That does not mean, whilst I'm saying this, that both men and women can just jump on and start, being crude out of nowhere and expressing themselves sexually without any form of integrity and diligence, because it doesn't work like that. When I say expression, it means resonant expression. By that I mean, you've got to create rapport. If somebody does say something which is a little bit expressionate, then don't beat them down on it so much. Don't beat them down on it so much. I mean, why do you think there's so many people? Why do you think males just send dick pics all the time? Because they can't express themselves. And whenever they have, they've probably been told they're a creep or been repressed some way. It's a lot like women. It's no different. I just want to make that clear now. What I'm saying here has been the same for women, but it's just the fact that right now the divine feminine is strong and a lot of women are moving out of it. So this is why I'm more emphasised on male. But make no mistake, this is something which has happened to women too. And this is what I'm saying. They're moving through it. So as divine feminine, look to them to show you how you can grow through it. Express who you want to be. Women don't care about dick pics. Okay, that's fair enough. Then allow men to express who they want to be and express themselves without feeling the need that they're going to be judged, because men just don't know where they're placed, and a lot of that, just comes down to the whole, again, physical. It's all about physical. This is why women get dick pics all the time, because from a man perspective, it's all about, the physical, because men have been so repressed and restricted of the expression of the divine feminine that it's the physical which comes into mind first, right? So it's like, no man, I will tell you this, no man will send a dick pic purposely to piss you off or purposely to offend you. It's simply that sometimes, most of the time, maybe that person or that male just doesn't know what to say or how to express themselves comfortably, because there has been so much judgment and so much shame and guilt on the expression of sexuality. And I just want to say that's not men only, that is female. And I want to point out this is not just basically, women done this and blah, 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 blah. This is understanding how they two intertwine. And this is bringing in an understanding of how we can heal one another. Now, the last thing. I just had it on the tip of my tongue. Let me sit and ponder it a second. I just had it. Totally gone. So anyway, I feel like it was an important point. So yeah, so this is what it's about now, So going back to what Amy said, gents, get into yoga. I've started it, loving it. It's awesome. Have yourself a candle bath. Love it. Love getting the insides out. Both men and women, touch yourself physically, not just your private parts, but all over. Learn to love yourself, touch yourself, and be appreciative of what you have. That includes your penis, that includes your tits, that includes your chest. Touch everything, but don't touch it like it's sexual. Touch it like you're actually honouring it. I did this the other day to myself, to my entire body, including genitals and everything, and it was an amazing experience. It was, for me, kind of like one of the first times I'd decided to just feel my entire body without any sexual thought or any sexual energy behind it, and it was really, really refreshing. So get in touch with your body. Men, don't be something you're not. We've all done it. I've done it. You may be still doing it now, because eventually it becomes tiresome. And eventually those women that you pull in become, not to be, it gets tedious, you know. It gets to a point where you're coming from a state of egoism, a state of lust so much that it all becomes meaningless. Which is a good thing, because obviously that's when you start to ask yourself, but it's about understanding that you're worth more than what the world's told you. Gents, you're awesome. Brothers, you're awesome. Sisters, you're awesome. Every single one of you are awesome. You're worth more than what the world has told you. But it's up to each and every one of us to remind ourselves of just how awesome we are. So, don't be something you're not. Ladies know this. They will see through it. And you've probably had this experience yourself. Confidence is not sticking your chest out, you know, and being the loudest in the room. Confidence is standing in your power, embodying that divine feminine in amongst your male friends, and comfortably saying, this is me. This is what I stand for. And whilst you're saying this is me and this is what I stand for, they are in their mind saying, that is me too. I want to stand for that. And that's what it's about. Stop beating down on other men, gents. Women, how often do we see this, right? I mean, right now, I see it all the time, and it's beautiful, finally. But we see women lifting each other, you know, rather than years and years ago, women calling each other slags, sluts, and hoes, and this, that, and the other, because they wasn't comfortable in expressing themselves, or they had their own inner stuff going on, you know, to a point where now it's like, women, let's come together, which is a beautiful thing. And I will never halter or get in the way of that, but let's just remind ourselves that, you know, we are men, male and female. Women, you have masculinity within you. Men, you have femininity within you. You want to understand yourself as a whole, both men and women. You've got to understand your energies as a whole. Understand your energies, you understand the part you play. Understand the part you play in the game, my dear brothers, and you will not feel the need to be lost and just feel like you have no point in life. And that 75% of all suicides being male will drop to 10% being mixture, or how about no percent, because everybody's aligning with who they truly are. Everybody's coming into an understanding of their essence. And this is it, gents. You want the life and the relationship that you desire. You may not tell all your friends, but between me and you, I see it. Then you've got to do the work. Meditation, breathing, intuition, candles, yoga, movement, flow. Get in touch with that femininity. You've got to do that. Regardless of what others may perceive you, it doesn't matter. Forget them. You've got to do it for you. And that's simply it. That's simply it. So, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time watching this video. I just felt it needed to come through. I guess my cards, this is what I drew today. So I guess I'm just I'm using my voice of truth from the angels to you guys. You know, we're doing amazing, absolutely amazing. This period we're in is going to cause so much awareness and so much growth that we are so blessed to be lived in and experiencing this moment. So now, let's bring each other together. You know, let's allow each other to express with resonance. Don't just start going into random people and fucking expressing yourselves, you know, because that probably won't have a very good outcome. But with resonance, let us not judge. People say to me, Lee, how do you not judge? You know, how when you see something in the street, do you not get angry? Why? Who am I to judge anybody else's journey when I know not of that soul's journey? I know nothing of Those souls that may be having a confrontation in the street, where they've been in their previous life, where they've been in this life, the subject of what they're arguing about. Who am I to step into that? Who am I to judge anybody's occupation if it's not in alignment with social standard? Why? I know not of where that soul has been or what that soul has been doing. Who am I to judge how somebody looks? Well, maybe in a previous life there was a fucking superstar model with all the glamour, and they got sucked into it, and so in this life their soul said, right, we're going to take that away so we can show a bit more authentic you. You cannot judge, for you do not know the journey of that soul, for every soul is on its own journey, and you can only understand yourself and where you're at, and share your realizations, your divinity with those around you, and that's all you can do. The rest is quite simply an illusion. Judgments do not exist. Sins do not exist. You are not being commanded to do anything. You are not being told to do anything. The law of free will states we all have the divine will to be, to do as we please. So now, let us be that with heart and integrity. Let us embody who we truly are. Men, don't judge your fellow brothers. Women, don't judge your fellow sisters. Men, don't judge your fellow sisters. Women, don't judge your fellow brothers. Help them, heal them. If that doesn't work, with heart, break away. You don't have to. Saying no is not weakness. Saying no is not wrong. Saying no is a empowered statement. Just because I'm saying we need to allow men to express, it doesn't mean that women need to accept and be on the receiving end of all these expressions, because that's not the case. That's again using sexuality and sensuality and emotion for control and manipulation purposes. This is not what this is about. The point of what I'm speaking about here is using your sensuality, your emotion, and your sexuality with integrity and heart and playfulness, eradicating all domination or manipulation of control, because quite frankly, that's the old world, and the old world is quite clearly gone. So this is the new world, and the new world says it's time for us to wake up and to be true to who we truly are. It's time for us to express what we want to express with integrity and heart and understanding. And it's time for us to love one another as we love ourselves. But you can't love one another like ourselves until we've learned to love ourselves. So you see how it all comes together. And the universe just wants to say, worry not, times are golden. A lot of changes, a lot of new souls, a lot of old souls. Embrace his time. Make use of this time. Do not waste it by sitting around worrying. Do not waste it by sitting around longing to be somewhere, doing something. Be here now and make the most of what we've been given. Make the most of this time where we can really ask ourselves what matters. How we feel. And where we wish to go in life, quite frankly. So guys, thank you so much for joining me on this video. May we work together. May we continue to grow, regardless of all the external negativity, regardless of all the old programming or the upheaval. May we come to an understanding and the revelation that all this upheaval is for our greater good. All this upheaval is showing to us that we have been coming from understanding ourselves and masculine and feminine energies from a very distorted place. And now with new understandings, new energy, we can actually start to move forward and come from a space of clarity and unity, and that's what it's truly about. So you can spit all you want, and you can post all your memes, and you can do all your yoga videos, but that's what it's about. It's about the people you meet. It's about the people you sit with. Being you, showing to them that it's okay for them to be them. Because for each and every single one of us, we are our own and collective inspiration. So with that said, my beautiful tribe, the heavens are blessing us, beautiful energies. Fear not, a lot is changing. Gents, reconnect, connect with who you are. Ladies, help the gents, quite simply. And one other thing before I go is ensure, if you are a guru, a life coach, or you're putting yourself in that energy, that in your work you are not creating separation between men and women, and you are not coming from a space of scarred masculinity disguised as femininity. Now that may seem a bit confusing, but I often see, and I've seen, there's been a fair few souls, and some of these have thousands upon thousands of followers, and in it they're talking of divine feminine, but with such linear perspective and aggression, and you don't feel any unity of energies. You just feel like, okay, you're speaking nice stuff, you're saying good shit, but it's not coming from that place. It's coming from a more masculine energy. And it's about being aware that, you know, whilst everybody's intention is of the greatest, even Hitler's intention before it got to where it was to better the world, you know, hence why he had so many followers. Nobody does anything out of the intention to be nasty. It just doesn't work. It's not within our nature, because we feel that. But it's understanding that you've got to align your feminine and masculinity. And if you're putting yourself in a guru kind of persona, then you've really got to align that, because my divine feminine and my intuition, whenever I'm kind of speaking to somebody, if they're talking of divine feminine but they're actually coming from a masculine, my feminine is like, yo, this person's not coming from that place, man. I'm not feeling it, because that's feminine. So also just make sure that with your teachers and your guides and your gurus upon the earth, not your angels, upon the earth, that they're coming from a place of unity, a place of understanding and clarity of male and female, and not just coming from this idea of saying I am a divine feminine, was really amping up that masculine energy behind it, because quite frankly you've been tricked by your ego. So yeah, blessings, love, power and wisdom to each and every single one of you. Brothers, respect. Ladies, respect. I love you all. I talk about this stuff and more stuff in my book. In case you didn't know, it's out now. It's you can get it on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's also available on my personal site, leemckewen.com, and it's also available on lulu.com. If you want the link, I could email that to you. That's not a problem. And yeah, thank you for your time. Just keep being you. Just keep showing your divinity, expressing your divinity. Be the love that you are, the compassion that you are, the clarity, the division, the wisdom, and the strength, passion, and courage that each and every single one of you are. From myself, from my angels and my guides, from Michael, we're all protected. Mother, we're all encompassed and on our journey. And may we continue to grow, may we continue to align, and may we continue to inspire and bring change upon this beautiful planet. Power, blessings, and wisdom.